Good evening, everyone. We're back after our short hiatus. Let's get into it.
And good evening, folks. I'm former British Army Corporal Cliff Purvis.
And I am former British Army Warrant Officer Russ Denny. Welcome to this 42nd edition of the Recce Report. As I said, we're back after a short hiatus. We missed last month. We apologise for that.
Absolutely.
Real life does sometimes get in the way.
It does. Basically, folks, I was high as a kite, just post-operative. Minor operation I had, but I had general anaesthetic. Long-term viewers of this show would know that I'm bad enough when I'm not been on anything. So it's decided that me coming out of general anaesthetic and with a mic in my hand probably would be as good an idea as listening to Donald Trump or Nigel Farage. Right. Well, how are you, Bud? How are you? Long time no see.
I'm okay, mate. I'm good. It's there's lots been happening over the last couple of months, isn't there? I think the main thing we need to talk about, the most important thing, the most vitally important thing to the country is that we're going to the World Cup, mate.
Yes! Hands up, everybody that was jumping about the front room when that fourth goal went in. Me!
That was me, mate. Oh, my God. 28 years since the last time.
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
Yeah. I was based in Catterick at the time.
Wait, mate. I think I was in... When was it? 98?
Right.
I'd have been in Londonderry.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. We've made it. We're in the group. We're in the same group as Brazil, Morocco, and Haiti. And we've got 2 games in Boston, one in Florida. So, hey, yep, it will be what it will be. But Steve Clark has done a wonderful job with that team. The team are doing a wonderful job. I still don't understand how we're managing to score so many goals. But I'm old enough. I am certainly old enough to remember when we used to play brilliant football and score nothing. Yeah. So, hey, let's not knock it. It's working. It's not a silly plan.
Sorry, just while I remember, apart from some issues on the stream, it's not streaming to the Indie Live Facebook page. So if you know anyone that's trying to access on there, you can still access it via YouTube on the Veterans page, on the Indie Live page, and on the Veterans Facebook page. I'll need to hit the admin of India Live up later to see what he's been playing at. Or maybe I bugger it up when I set it up. That's always a distinct possibility.
Because we are IT gurus. Right. Talking of gurus, who loves the MOD?
Oh, mate. Yeah. We've just been talking about scoring goals. The MOD missed an open net, didn't they?
Yeah. We're talking about the long-term running SOAR, that has procurement within the MOD. The procurement process within the MOD has always been, well, money just disappears into a very deep pocket, I think. Yeah, is it? Yeah, and no, nothing at the end is produced. We're talking now, of course, about the Ajax armored fighting vehicle. It's not a tank, folks. I know it's got tracks and a gun on the top, right? But it's not a tank. It's an armored fighting vehicle because it's supposed to have troops in the back as well. So it gets the troops as close into where the bad guys are. Troops disembark and do the job. Trouble is, they can't get it, right, to do the job because of the vibration of the vehicle and the noise of the vehicle. They were on an exercise on Salisbury Plain a few weeks back. The exercise got stopped. 30-odd troops were suffering problems with vibration issues, were suffering problems with hearing issues. 3 of those soldiers are now medically discharged HM forces. Right? But the answer came back from somebody somewhere along the MOD was all vehicles vibrate, all tracked vehicles make noise. Yes, both me and Russ have been in tracked vehicles of various different types. And Russ, have you ever felt sick or deafened by the noise inside them?
Huh?
Oh, he's been practicing that one all day.
No, I mean, generally, we had this chat the other day, didn't we? So generally, we've travelled in lots of military vehicles, Hercules aircraft, loud. You can't have a conversation on a Hercules aircraft. Do you ever see two people in a movie chatting on a Hercules aircraft? Yeah, that doesn't happen. But generally in the back of an armored vehicle, you can at least hear what the person next to you is saying.
Yeah.
Not really loud. Not massively louder than a normal Land Rover, to be honest. So the fact that there's vibrations and noise tells me that it was just really badly put together.
Yeah.
And there's been rumours flying around that the guys that were picking up faults were told not to report them during the testing process. That apparently the time for testing was reduced. Like the 8 hours that they would be driving these for, but like 20 minutes just to check it was okay.
Well, you're not going to solve anything in 20 minutes, are you?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
The lubricants within the vehicle haven't warmed up.
It's very typical. So the truth is, somebody made loads of money out of this. I guarantee there's probably some procurement QM somewhere that got an MB out of it. And now it's all turned to rat shit.
Yeah. And as always, it is an infantry vehicle, or that variant is the infantry vehicle. And it's the poor bloody infantry that suffer at the end.
And they are. And one of the things we're trying to say, I can't remember where it came from, but somebody up high tried to blame it on the troops that they weren't using it properly or that they weren't maintaining them properly. No.
Oh, for God's sake.
Mate, if it's not squaddy proof, it's not good for squaddies, is it?
Yeah, exactly. These things have got to put up with a squaddy doing the silliest thing to it repeatedly.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
ferries, absolutely. Well said, that man.
Yeah. And the MOD, but here's the difference. The MOD pretty much have an unlimited budget, unlike people that are building the ferries.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse. It's just not to get it right.
Yeah.
It's just embarrassing. It really is. I don't know why I'm surprised. The British Army, the British forces, the MOD have been like that for decades, if not centuries.
I mean, the RAF are suffering as well with the airborne radar, the early warning system. I mean, that is now so late, it's unbelievable. We've got American aircraft flying out of Lost to cover. We've got the Norwegians covering our sector of the North Sea because we can't do it. What happened to this, better together stuff? Americans and Norwegians as part of NATO forces. I have no problem with that. I don't have a problem with NATO forces being stationed in Scotland. Because we need that type of thing. I know others don't like NATO. I do, but jeepers.
You mentioned better together. I know we didn't talk about this, but the Vote No Borders guy that bunged a shed load of money to Boris Johnson to get a peerage is defected to Reform now, isn't he?
Yes, he has. Yes. Which again leads us into what we were going to be talking about anyway. I'm just clock watching here, buddy, because Kevin really shouted us if we run over. Where the hell is Farage getting his money from?
Millionaires.
But I thought he was a man of the people. I thought he was a guy that was going to stand up.
I think at least 2 of the 3 major donors are kind of crypto guys who are been under investigation for money laundering.
Yes, and the money they're laundering is Putin's money.
Yeah. But don't forget, Farage is the anti-establishment candidate, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a man of the people. He drinks beer and goes to pubs.
Yeah. Yes.
Whilst holding dual citizenship.
Yes. And being under investigation for possible. I'm saying possible. I'm not saying it was definite, but he's now under investigation for possible election fraud.
Yeah.
And that was announced over the weekend. So let's hope they have the thorough forensic investigation as they did to the SNP.
Yeah, and it's been raised again. His schoolboy racist comments, which is not new. I don't know why. I don't know why it's popped up again. This came out years ago. That Farage was kind of Hitler Youth-esque when he was younger, and he's trying to say that he should be forgiven because he was but a mere teenager. Bear in mind, this is the same guy that said Shamima Begum, who was groomed at 15 and went off to fight for ISIS, shouldn't be allowed back in the country because she knew exactly what she was doing.
Yeah. See, what Farage is after is he lives by one set of rules.
Oh, yeah.
He expects everybody else to live by another
Yeah.
set of rules. Yeah, it's not do as I do, it's do as I say. He's a freaking little dictator.
Grifter, mate. He's the same as this Yaxley Lennon fella, who who claims he's claims he's a man of the people, so has to change his name to be less upper class. But it's now bought like a £750,000 mansion with all the money that people send him. And these are people as ill informed as it might be, who can't afford to be sending money to grifters like Yaxley Lennon.
Yeah, Yaxley Lennon, that's supported by Musk. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Yaxley Lennon's getting his money from Musk. Farage is getting his money, let's be honest here, from Putin. Farage is 2IC in the EU Parliament, who went on to be Reform leader in Wales. Is now in prison for 10 years for getting money to put up pro-Putin comments in the EU Parliament.
Which one of the Reform guys was it that said, "I've never even heard of this guy"? And they're like, he was the leader of Reform in Wales. And then there was a picture of the two of them together as well.
Yeah. Oh, wasn't that your man, 50p?
Was it Dice?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was that correct. Yeah, and Farage's comment on him was, no one knows him like me, so you knew he was taking money from Putin. Yeah. So if there are any plants or sleepers or whatever you want to call yourselves listening into this show, please get on the mess, type in, or get somebody to type your thing in. How can you justify supporting a party that's supported by Putin's money? Yeah, and if you don't like that war criminal, you've got another one across the water who Farage idolizes, and that's Trump.
Yeah.
So basically, your party, Reform UK, is sponsored by war criminals, and I'm desperately trying not to swear.
Honestly, Trump is such a wannabe dictator that there's the thing came out in Texas where they basically just gerrymandered the election maps.
Yes.
To ensure that they get more representation.
Yeah. California's done the same, but for Democrats.
Yeah. But that's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, it goes on. And I think, as much as we slate British politics, at least we have independent, election maps. Independent, that put these together. They might not always agree with them, but they tend to do them fairly.
It goes by population in the UK.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. As much as it grits me sometimes. So anyway, this latest one that's gone to Farage, the Lord, whatever his name is, right? Lord, I gave Boris lots of money. Now you lots of money. Where does someone get that kind of money? Is it lying down the back of a settee or something? He's going to give up his peerage. Well, he's not giving it up. If he's wanting to stand as an MSP, then he has to give it up. He's making it sound as though he's doing it out of the goodness of his heart. No, he's wanting to be an MSP. Now, he's grifted, what was it, £34,000 he got from the Lords last year. Yeah, that's not a bad wee thing, considering the amount of time they have to spend there. So £34,000 from there. Yeah. And now he's wanting to be an MSP, so he has to give up that gravy train. Right. I have no doubt at all that because of the way the second vote works in Scotland, that we will end up with Reform MSPs. And then we will see the calibre of them, because they will be on TV. Right. And what's not been mentioned so boldly is how Kent County Council is getting on. This is Farage's flagship county council. This is the one that was flattered all over the TV with the breakdown and the Teams call they had, where the leader of the county council started sanctioning 3 of them because they weren't agreeing with what she was saying. The Kent County Council was £25 million in debt the last time they had a local election. Farage got in, or his party got in, saying they were going to do this Doge thing, getting the local government working correctly. Well, they are now in debt to £42 million. right? They must have been buying a heck of a lot of flags with that kind of money.
Yeah. They have no idea, but that's the thing with populists. You know, they have these easy answers to complex questions.
Mm.
And sometimes things happen. And I don't particularly like harping back to 1930s Germany, but Hitler was seen as a crank, very much like a lot of us view Farage and the ilk, and he was saying that the problem was that the reliance on foreign money like America and all that, and loose morals, because Berlin in the 1930s was a very bohemian, very cosmopolitan place.
It was party central.
And then what happened was the Great Depression happened, and America said we need all that money back. And Germany was overextended, so Hitler was able to say, "See, look, even a stop clock is right twice a day."
Yeah.
And that was really his kind of his Waterloo, if you like.
Yeah.
Where he was able to people started listening to him, and that's the problem. And Farage and the ilk, they want to emulate that, which is why you have people like Yaxley Lennon and stuff pointing to every single thing that an immigrant does that might be a bit dodgy as indicative of them all as a whole.
Yes. Yeah.
But then do we look at every white guy like Yaxley Lennon and think they're all tax dodging wife beaters?
Yeah. No, they've glossed
allegedly.
Yeah. Or the House of Windsor protecting someone that has at least 12 million reasons why he should be standing in court.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that's never mentioned because he has white skin. Yeah, let's be brutally honest here. I am glad that the leader, the First Minister of Scotland, is calling Farage out for what he has done. It's taken a long time for that to happen, and because he is doing that, I have rejoined the SNP. I did that yesterday. Okay, man,
yeah.
Right.
It has to happen. I mean, I'm hoping it's not too little, too late.
Right.
I said right. Last year, I think I said that when Labour got in, they had an opportunity to say, look, no, we're not going to go the status quo. We're going to speak out against Trump. We're going to speak out against this right wing lunacy. And they didn't. They didn't. They just put in more of the same, continuing with Brexit, continuing with the anti-immigration, xenophobia stuff. And the SNP then should have been filling that gap.
Yeah.
As the elected representatives in Scotland. You only see now that Labour in Wales are complaining about the single market bill, that people are paying attention. But we've been saying it for since it came in.
Yes. Yeah.
So John Swinney needs to up his game, unfortunately. I have a funny feeling this might be our last kind of shot at goal.
Yes. Yeah. Because if Farage gets in, he's going to get in as a majority, or he's going to get in as the control, because he's now talking about doing a deal with the Tories. So they'll want to do a deal with them because they are very much similar. What's left of the Tories are very similar to what he is anyway. So if they get in, that's them going to have a majority. They're going to repeal. Well, they say they're going to kick out the European Convention of Human Rights. It's not that easy. They've got to repeal the
Good Friday Agreement.
The Human Rights Act of 1998, the Scottish Act of 1998, the Welsh Act of 2017, the Northern Irish Act of 2017, Good Friday Agreement, every single EU trade deal we've ever done, because they've all centered around the European Convention of Human Rights. But they haven't said when they're going to implement their British rights thing, right? There is scant information. There is bits and pieces come out about how they're downscaling the workers' rights, how they're downscaling our rights. They're not mentioning anything about the bosses. Yeah.
And it will be it'll be all about, it won't be about British rights. It'll be about millionaires' rights. It'll be getting rid of minimum wage. It'll be getting rid of, the working time directive. It'll be getting rid of, union protections and health and safety regs and all this sort of stuff that they see as this kind of loony left things, like making sure that people don't die at work. I mean, how weak do you have to be to not go to work, knowing
Yeah.
that you might die because the safety equipment surely are not there. This is the sort of stuff they want. It just puts money back in the pockets of their donors. It's not about the people. It never has been. It's about power for them and their cronies.
Yeah, it's there's a program that I started watching on the TV yesterday. It's about John Adams. He was the vice president under George Washington, and he ended up being the second president of the United States of America. And he is very famous for his quotes and his observations on liberty and on democracy. And one of his ones goes around roughly the lines of, once democracy is removed, it cannot be re-implemented. It usually has to be by law. Usually has to be done by force.
Yeah.
Type of thing, and we should be always very wary. Of people in power. Use that power.
Oh yeah, because we know that Farage would be using Trump's playbook.
Yes.
And would be bypassing all the checks and balances that are there. Might be slightly more difficult in the UK because there's more. Because you can't stack the Supreme Court with your loyal supporters.
No. But that's probably the only thing we have got in our favour is the court system, because we don't have a written constitution. Yeah, we have convention, we have acts of law as passed through the parliament, and that's good. But most of it is convention. Yeah. And as we know, Russ, convention really does work as long as everybody's happy to play that game. But will never do it. Now, the exact quote I was looking for there from Adams was, "There's a danger from all people." And that's what we need to know. We need to realise this, regardless of gender. Yeah, there is a danger from all people. The only maxim of a free government ought to be, trust no person living with power, with that power to endanger the public liberty. So why are we trusting Farage? He's openly saying he's taken us out the European Convention of Human Rights. That doesn't just affect migrants, immigrants, or asylum seekers.
It's everyone.
That affects absolutely everybody. Yeah. If he destroys that, then how are we going to ensure that it's replaced? Because there's nothing there that says he has to replace it.
You've got to be careful. That's the thing, mate. People buy into the narrative. They get to, and this is the playbook of these people, is they demonize. You've got to demonize someone. You've got to have a bad guy. And for Farage, it used to be the EU. With the loony rules on straight bananas and
which never ever happened.
And food safety standards. And now that the EU's gone, he's got to switch it. It's got to be. There's been more immigration since we left the EU.
Yeah,
because we now don't have the Dublin Agreement that says we can send them back to the first safe country. Yeah, which was part of the EU regulations. Yeah. So now they've got to demonize someone else. And it's never about that. It's never about, sadly, the people that are being demonized. It's about those that want to have power for power's sake.
Yeah.
And we can't let it happen because you'll never get it back again.
No. I keep getting snipes on our page there saying, read your history. I don't need to read the history. Right? My father fought the Second World War from start to finish. He fought against the fascists. The first ones were the collaborators, the Vichy French in Syria. He was in Palestine at the time when the war kicked off. He then took on the Italians. He was at Tobruk with the Rats of Tobruk, the Anzac forces there. He then went over to Crete, got his ass kicked off at Crete by the Germans. And then went out to India and fought against the Imperial Japanese army out there. So I grew up with stories of what fascism and what intolerant states are about. Right, and I will never let what he did get wasted or corrupted by the like of Farage or Yasser Leonard. Yeah, and nor will I let the memory of people that didn't come back from that one get corrupted by those people. And I seen a disgusting photo of Farage the other day when I was doing a bit of background checking. Him in a snatched Land Rover. Right. I think it was during his campaign for being an MP, and he's out the top cover hatch, right? I'm sitting there going, this is a guy that wouldn't know one end of a weapon from another, but here he is in a military bloody vehicle.
Yeah,
How fascist do you get with that?
they do it, mate. You know, that's the thing. These are reform's not new. You know, reform is just the evolution of the old BNP.
Yeah.
You know, BNP, UKIP, you know, Brexit Party, you know, all of this sort of stuff. You know, and it's reform, and once reform goes, they'll rename again. There'll be something else. There'll be some other thing to get on board with.
Yeah.
You know, if it walks like a fascist and it talks like a fascist, there's a good chance it's fascist.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they dress it up. They dress it up with a flowery language. You know, it's not about, you know, it's about protecting the borders. It's about looking after our own.
Yeah, you froze there, Russ. Yeah, so
first. And I've said many times, mate, you didn't look after our own before the immigrants turned up. So what makes you think they're going to go? They're going to start doing that after the immigrants are gone? They don't give a shite about you.
No, 1918. Lloyd George stood up in that town hall in Wolverhampton and said, like, make this a land fit for heroes to return to. Yeah, and we're still freaking waiting, right? So, you know, Farage, pack your bags. You're no welcome in Scotland. Sling your hook.
Yeah, well done. You said you weren't going to swear, mate, so I'm impressed that you got through that, because I wouldn't have. Yeah, they had their little thing in Falkirk, didn't they? I don't think there was many people. I mean, there was more counter protesters than there were there. But we're not immune to it in Scotland. Let's not kid ourselves.
No,
it happens. We've just got to be on guard for it. We've got to keep calling it out where we see it.
Wherever you see it, wherever it's seen, you call it out. If you don't want to call it out, pass it over to me, pass it over to Russ, and we'll damn well call it out. Right? Yeah. We've been doing this.
So I've seen it before. There was someone who's been going on about Muslims and Sharia law. Told me recently they're going on holiday to Dubai next year, and I was like, my irony meter just exploded. So you're going to be an immigrant in a country that is actually a Muslim country and has Sharia law, whose whole economy is underpinned by immigration.
Yeah. People die in a building, say they just hire someone else.
Yeah, well, that's what Farage wants.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. But hey, who am I? Who am I, mate? I'm just an ex-squaddy with a camera and a gob.
Yeah, you're an educated man, Russ. Don't.
I pretend to be for a living, but yeah.
Right, so folks, please, honestly, if you've got any snippets of information, anything you've been hearing on the grapevine about this fascist party UK, pass it into the veterans page. You know, we can anonymise it. If you've been part of reform, have left them because you're feeling disgusted with what's going on, it's not quite what you signed up for. Pass that information on to us. We'll anonymise it. We'll broadcast it. I personally don't care. The amount of deletes I have to do in the morning after posting something up is unbelievable. But hey, if you put your head above the parapet, we expect to get sniped. And me and Russ are we're hardened people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've already got a hearing loss claim in from the MOD. So you can shout at me all you want, mate. I still won't bother hear you.
Well, I'll just switch off my hearing aids and I'll never hear them.
It's all done, mate, and it really is.
I have to say, you get a smaller waistcoat.
You'd be there, mate, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So we're almost at the end of our time for today, folks. That's gone really quick again. Thank you so much for all the comments and for continuing to watch. This has been our Christmas edition.
Oh yes, it has, yes.
So we will see you back in the second Monday of January next year, 2026, the election year in Scotland.
It is, yes. Now, I would just like to finish off from a question from the page.
Go on.
And that was from Dennis Krasnowski, and I hope I've pronounced that right. I probably haven't. I apologise, Dennis, if I've mispronounced your surname there. And he's an ex-squaddy. and we were on about reform, etc. And he's going, what is wrong with people? You know, these are people I have served with, and some I know from having served, who I know have served. How can they possibly think that reform could have Scotland's interest at heart? You know, independence is normal, right?
Yeah, and what can I say, mate? You know, I've said before, you know, the armed forces are a microcosm of society. So you know, you don't suddenly change who you are when you join the army. I mean, but what you should do is you should learn and become educated. And we've all served alongside some cracking soldiers, sailors, and Air Force personnel from across the world.
Yeah.
From Fiji and Nepal and Ghana and all over Africa and all over the world. It's hard to be bigoted when you're relying on people that you work beside. I think it takes effort.
Yeah.
It used to be that ignorance was an excuse for this, but I think now you've got people who actively have to work towards it.
Yeah.
Because they're seeing so much that contradicts that.
Yeah.
And I've banged on before about the values and standards and respect for others and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. All we can do is keep speaking out, keep talking to people, and bring them on board.
150 days. 150 days to the election.
Yeah, but who's counting? You are. Folks, thank you so much. I will bid you a good evening. Please enjoy the rest of your week, the rest of your night. And we will see you next time. Cliff,
remember, folks, future is bright, independence is right. Have a good year.
Ta-ra, Alba. Take care.